Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. StrangeNet here. So over the last several days I've been doing some of the Crimson Harvest events in Null and Sec, and I thought I'd give you generally an update on how I found the events so far and whether or not I've found it worthwhile. And generally the answer, I'll get straight to the point, is no, not really. I've not found that the ISK from this event has made it particularly worthwhile. You can see here at the moment I am in Null Sec at the moment doing one of these sites. The general way that it goes is that the high sec sites are the worst, then it's followed by Null Sec, and I think low sec and wormholes are pretty much on par. So we're currently killing the final overseer boss here. This was one of the first ones I did on the first days, because a lot of people tell you that the event loot gets nerfed quite significantly after day one. Now, it's not generally been my findings. I've generally found that the loot stays consistent enough that I don't really notice any significant decrease. But you can see here, obviously we've defeated the Overseer boss. With it being in 0-0, obviously these things newt, they web, they scram, and they disrupt, so that can be problematic, because obviously there's newts around. You can see there's a newt here currently in system, but he's exploring, so I'm not particularly worried about it. I'm in two praxis, I don't know. So I wasn't particularly worried, and this one is 55 mil. Obviously the Radiance basic cerebral accelerator there isn't included in the price, and that'll get me another 10 million, maybe 6 million depending. So not bad. We've just made 65 million. It took roughly 10 minutes probably to do the site, so not terrible, not great. That's pretty much okay, actually. I'd be happy with that if that was consistent. This one was pretty okay as well, 38 mil, but again 21 mil of that is coming from a skin, and we all know that skins basically tank horribly after the event or in the course of the event, so that's not really counted. This one got me a whopping 7.5 million ISK, so that was not worthwhile. Next site came out at around 7 million ISK, give or take, so again, not particularly worth it. You are getting a few bounties at 5 mil, but either way, not great. And then the last of the sites that I did, again, just under 7-8 million ISK there. So I think at this point I decided that it was I was going to go do some of the exploration ones instead. So I decided to go out to Null Sec and start doing some of the exploration sites instead, the data sites, to see if these basically yield anything better for me than the combat sites. Now, the nice thing about these sites is that you do get unlimited attempts, where ordinarily for most sites that you find that aren't event sites, you only get 2 attempts. If you fail for the second time, basically you get nothing and the can locks out, where these, you can go at it and at it and at it. We got 5.2 million ISK there, so not a bad start. So the last can on this one turned out to be a whopping 133,000 ISK. So on and off to the next one. So from the loot we're pulling out, I do about 6 or 7 sites in Null Sec. Unfortunately, I didn't record all of them, but basically the results weren't a great deal better. So decided to come back to the station and consider all my life choices. From which point someone was saying that basically Low Sec was definitely the place to go for the data sites. So I packed my bags and leave to go to Iridia, which has a lot of Low Sec systems and is on the other side of Eve. So this hack stops me in my tracks. It says 166 million. I'm like, woo! And then I realise 163 million of it is from this skin alone, but the rest of it is basically worth 3 million ISK, give or take, plus the booster. So 166 million ISK was a very nice drop, although, as I say, the vast majority of that is from the skin, which turns out to be about 5 million ISK now, but obviously the event is in full swing, and I don't imagine that'll be going up anytime soon. You can see here from the rest of the cans, we're in Low Sec now, which is meant to be the better of the sites, and the the loot is pretty lackluster. I didn't come out with a great million. I think all in all, with everything combined from Low Sec minus that skin, we came out with about 65 million-isk for 6 sites. So yeah, not the kind of ISK that I was hoping for from Low Sec. I've been hearing reports that the ISK there was much better. And again, kind of came away very disappointed. I say one of them cans I think was 10k ISK at the end. And yeah, I expected a decent amount from Low Sec. Because again, Low Sec is usually where the ISK is made. Winter event, Low Sec is generally the place to be. And yeah, thoroughly disappointed obviously with that amount of ISK. And for the amount of effort that's put in, all in all. Again, from the Null Sec combat sites to the hacking sites, I think I probably came out with about 300 million ISK. Now, 300 million ISK is pretty nice, but it took me 3-4 hours in total, not including the travel time to Iridia. Although I did use Thera for that, so it only took me 10-15 minutes to get pretty much 60-70 jumps, so that wasn't too bad. But let's face it, the hacking sites are pretty boring. I can't think of a better word than boring, mundane. You know, it's not particularly exciting. You scan down a site, you go to it and you hack it. It's pretty easy, it's standard, it's the same every time. And obviously the combat sites, other than the E-War used by the NPCs, the sites are basically generic, copy and paste, they're always the same. So I would have much preferred, or would have earned a lot more doing the Abyssal sites. So in comparison to the 3 million ISK that I earned from the event sites, I'd have come out with about 2.5 billion ISK doing the Abyssal run sites. Now, granted, that is with 3 characters. So, yeah. But again, the sheer amount of ISK that I can make doing that. And again, the PvE is just more engaging. It's more exciting. There's more randomness to it. And yeah, you know, PvE is always a little stale in the end. But at least with the Abyssal sites, it does change it up. You do get different spawns and different things to think about. Whereas obviously these combat sites are pretty much, well, I think they are exactly the same for every single site. So once you've managed to do it, that's it. You're going to conquer it every single time, other than human interaction with other players. So it's nice to do something different, don't get me wrong, but again, for the amount of time needed and for the amount of reward that is given, it's a bit lackluster now. Obviously, you do get your skins and that you can redeem, and some of these are pretty nice. Obviously, you know, Valorant, interesting. So we've got all the new T2 dreads there. And again, you know, by all means, it's not to be sniffed at. You know, you get the skins for doing it. So there is a little extra incentive. You can't sell these skins. But again, in actual pure raw ISK, a little disappointing. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, the first day was much better. Well, I did the combat sites on the first day. And again, they weren't particularly fantastic. Again, I think it worked out at about 27 million ISK. Per average per site, so you know we're not talking good numbers there. I can make that Christ run in a Haven or a Sanctum, and I can do that again and again and again without the hassle of having to move around and to look for sites. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying the event. I know some of you are doing it at haste and you know, enjoying it generally. And again, you know, I've only done 15 sites, but I think 15 sites is a good metric for, you know, seeing the average ISK that I'm making there. I think I've done enough sites to realise that, you know, for myself, obviously the ISK there is pretty poor, and I've got other activities that not only pay more but are a bit more exciting as well. But I do hope you guys are having fun. I'd like to know any success stories that you have had. By all means, put them in the comments. It's always nice to hear people that are actually succeeding where I have failed miserably to earn anything. So with that, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again soon.